Okay. Copyright infringement. Make sure y'all can hear me. Copyright infringement is when somebody takes your content, your vocals, your pictures, and they use it in a way where they benefit off of it and they alter it in ways that they shouldn't. Recently, I went through this before in the past more than 4 or 5 times. So this would be pushing it closer to 10 times that I've been through it. Here's the story. So around November 22nd, I hopped on Facebook and I seen Saluda G, he had posted a music video. This music video started out with my video, a video that I shot. And when it started out with this video, I'm thinking he just posted a video, but it has this edit on it, which is blocking out my name. So I'm confused. So when I see it's a complete music video, at that point in time, I actually hit him up. Once I contact him, Saluda G, he basically tells me, he didn't know this and that, and that I could contact the videographer. So I do that. I've already was on that. I already contacted him, but I got no response. So then I think it was that day or the next day, maybe, I think I hit him up on Instagram. Still got zero response. So to me, it was like, okay, well, I'm not going to completely take this as I'm being ignored, but I'm not getting any response. So when I get no response, I don't really say anything at the given moment. So I just pay attention and I start researching copyright infringement. I already know about it, but I start researching it more because I want to make sure that I'm going about this the correct way. I don't want to do it the wrong way. So as I'm doing my research, I also start researching the videographer. I start looking up his stuff. And as I'm looking up his stuff, checking out his Instagram, checking out his Twitter, checking out everything like that, I see some pretty cool stuff that he's a part of and that he's doing. The phone booth Jones is pretty dope. But once I seen what it was, I knew what I had to go do. Let me watch this video, every second of it, make sure I get a picture of let me get a screenshot of every moment that I see footage that I shot in this, and let me document it. Now let me backtrack to which each one of these videos come from. So then I know exactly what titles I need to put into this letter. So I know exactly which each clip come from. So after I do that and I get everything compiled and I got everything together, I create the letter, the cease and desist letter. And then I organize everything in the cease and desist letter, and then I organize all the screenshots and stuff. Mind you, I didn't even get to send out the second part of the cease and desist letter that showed all the screenshots of each, place of where the videos that I shot were introduced into this video. So I guess you'll just see it here. And I already know about the artist. I already know about Saluda G. Been a fan of his for a very long time. About 10 years ago, a little bit longer than 10 years, I had got into doing videos. Specifically wasn't doing music videos at the time, but then I got into doing music videos. When I got into doing music videos, Saluda G was one of the first people that I started to link with to do music videos. And as I started to link with him, there was really no money involved. He's from the same neighborhood that I grew up in, so that was like the connection that I took. And he had like a great personality. I always thought he had a pretty good personality. Funny guy, charismatic. And I felt as though like this dude really has a chance. He really has a chance. So, you know what I mean? I showed some support. I showed some love, I guess you could say. So I shot a couple different music videos for him at that time. And none of these music videos had any money exchange in hands, or we never signed any contracts, right? So this is where things get to where you understand that the content, I own it outright. Because there was no money exchange in hands and there was no agreement signed, which I used to tell artists back then, hey, you should sign an agreement. And you should pay a real price. Most artists was not interested in either one. They wanted the discount rate or as cheap as they can get it as possible, and they weren't interested in signing any contracts of any sort, which realistically is an agreement. So then both parties have use of this content. Now, in that agreement, you're still not allowed to re-edit this content. You're still not allowed to repurpose this content to be broken down to be used like in another music video anyway, without permission or without communicating with that person who initially shot it basically owns the property, the intellectual property, but also the physical video property. Most people don't know that when you shoot a music video with somebody, no matter who it is, in actuality, that person who shot it with their camera, that's the person who initially owns the original footage and they own the final product. When you sign that agreement, you're basically signing that you have rights to use that final product, or if they just give you complete rights to that project. But majority of the time, people sign a contract where they have shared rights. Now, if you're at a higher level status or whatever like that, something like that, then most times that bigger artist will pay enough that they have sole rights to that, but that still will be able to be used on that videographer's or director's resume. So as an artist, just know if you have content out there and you've never signed a contract with your videographer, or an agreement, with your videographer, they outright own your music video, no matter how much you paid them, because you did not sign an agreement with them in any way, shape, or form. So at any given point in time, that word can change. So here we are. Now, over the last probably like couple of months, I seen Saluda G posting videos and clips out of videos that I had shot with him in it on his page. No argument with this at all. Reason being is because he was not altering these videos. He was not taking any tags off. He was not doing any of that stuff in any way, shape, or form. He was posting it straight up. And he also was tagging me in it. So then it was just like, okay, cool. I ain't got no issue with that. I ain't even think about having an issue with that. You feel me? So no problems at all in that notion. Well, in that area. Now, I more or less looked at this as, I'm just going to take this stuff and do what I want with it. When in reality, you can't really do that, because I couldn't even do that. You know what I'm saying? I couldn't do that. I couldn't take something from somebody and just go, just because I'm in that video, take it and do whatever I want with it. I don't own it. I don't own it. Now, if I ask them for it, they give it to me and I can use it for something, that's different. You know what I mean? And they allow me to, then that's different. But if it's not on paper, if they chose to go, hey, you can't do this, then I can't do that. I've been through that before, where I had a cease and desist letter sent to me. So instead of me having to agree to paying a fee, I took the video down and never spoke about it in any way, shape, or form. This video is only being made because Saluda G made a Facebook post where he put the whole cease and desist letter in the Facebook post. Some told me about that it was going to be posted publicly. Something told me while I was doing it. Do I believe that they did not have the knowledge of this? Yes and no. I believe that they may have not done this maliciously or done this disrespectfully in any way, shape, or form, but I also slightly, in one way, don't believe that they did not know what copyright infringement was. The reason why I don't is because if you're a videographer, you know you're going to protect your content. If anybody posts your content that is not you, you're going to be telling them to take it down. You're going to be asking them why you just ain't share my content or this and this and that. So jump on form, right? It's kind of like common sense. I looked at it as if like, well, damn, there was zero communication. We're all from the same neighborhood. So shit, you seen my name on there. You could easily look up the name. You seen the tag on there. You could easily take that tag and go, let me look up this person and see if they would be okay with this. But also you could be looking at it like, well, he's in these videos, so shouldn't really be no problem, which is also understandable too. But like I said earlier, these videos weren't paid for. These were videos that I did because I got a new camera, I got a new lens, and I had no problem supporting Saluda G at that time. I wanted to make money, but you know what I'm saying? Like I said, back then, a lot of artists weren't trying to pay money. They wanted people to believe into their grind, which is like, we all have a grind. And the best thing that you could do is pay your way. Nothing in this world is free. Nothing. And if it is free, then you're still paying with gratitude. You're still paying with some respect. You're still paying with some type of love, or you might pay down the line because you might see it as like, dang, this person showed me love. Let me show them love back in a way. So that may balance it out. Besides that, I see this as a learning experience for everybody. Anybody out there that's a creative, that you create content, and you're willing to create content for others for free, just know you own that content. And for them to take that content, alter that content, zoom that content in so your tag is not seen anymore, that's copyright infringement. For them to take that content, use that content without your permission, it's copyright infringement. For them to take that content, take the music off that content, alter it in any way, color-wise or whatever, that's copyright infringement. Now, there is a lane called fair use. Fair use is usually used of what you see on YouTube when people review other people's content, per se, music, YouTube videos, news articles, or news videos and things like that. People talking over a commentary. Those are 90% of the time used as fair use. Can they go through copyright problem? Yes, they can. YouTube will strike your video down until they go through a process of checking on whether or not it was used in a fair use way. So for me, right, in this situation, No hatred, no disrespect, no dislike, no real issue. It's just, I wish it would have been more communication. Again, we are all from the same town, Camden, New Jersey. And I think it just should have been more, it just should have been some type of communication in a way. Again, can I understand that maybe they don't know? Very true. But I also think that once you get into this type of world where you get into the content or being an artist and creating stuff, you want to own your stuff. You want to own it. And to own it means you own the beats, you own the lyrics, you own the visuals, everything is owned. But visuals you will always share because somebody else is shooting it. Pictures you will always share because somebody else is shooting it. Even the beats you'll always share because somebody else made that beat. So it won't be just you, even though you paid for it, you won't be the only person making money off that beat. And I think people should understand that is like, this is a collaborative environment, and we should take heed to that, and we shouldn't have really any problem with that. I don't. I remember in the past I made a bike life video, and when I made this bike life video, I used Don Michael Jr.'s song. This was years ago, and when I used his song, he made money off that YouTube video, and I did not. I mean, I also used some commercial songs in there too, and I knew I wasn't gonna make money off that video. That video hit like hundreds of thousands of views, and I didn't make $1 off of it, but he did. Did I get upset? A little bit tight, but I was not mad that he made money off of it. It actually was a learning experience. It made me learn that, like, hey, how do I put myself in place where now I control every aspect of the content? Kind of a hard way to go when it comes to bike life, only because, like, you know, bike life, we want to hear some of the loudest songs, some of the songs that we like. So it's not like we ride around listening to like something that we made. We're more or less listening to the stuff that we hear from our favorite artists. So again, to end this off, again, this video was only made because of the Facebook post I seen that publicly posted the cease and desist letter. If you're not interested in seeing a cease and desist letter, communicate with the people's content that you're trying to use, unless you're using it in fair use. At that point in time, then you know your limitations and you know what you're doing with it, and you know it's not being altered and realistically anyway besides stop and start as it plays. If you're an artist, make sure that you sign an agreement with the videographer that you work with, so then you have rights to that content. Now, you still may not have rights to take that content and re-edit it or have it re-edited, which could put you and another person in hot water in a way. Communication, that's where communication plays part. Communicate with that person. Some people may ask for a fee, some people may not ask for a fee, and they just may be asking for credit. Per se, give that, and then you can go forward with your project. Videographer, protect yourself. Pay attention. Know what you can do and what you can't do. Simple and plain. And that goes for content creators of all. Know what you can control and know what you can't, and pay attention. Shit, I got a viral video going out right now, which I wish I would have put my Instagram on top of that viral video, because a lot of people are using it as fair use, and it was me getting pulled over by the fucking police.
You don't have, this is not a traffic stop.
It is actually. What is,
it's not. But what can I say? So many people have been sending it to me like, yo, bro, I just seen it. People from different states that know me have sent me this video. So maybe I'll post it on my main page one day and see if it goes viral for me on my page. But all in all, protect yourself. And Salute G, go check out his Instagram, and he posts a lot more on Facebook page too. But check out his stuff, because he's still a dope artist in my eye. And check out my page, Reckless Life. But all in all, man, keep creating, keep doing your thing, but always remember to protect yourself and your content.